CSR encompasses three main areas: social responsibility, economic and environmental. Corporate sustainability is achieved when all three of these responsibilities are balanced equally. The majority of the businesses nowadays all hold the aim to act in an ethically responsible manner deep in the centre of the organisation's central operations. This may include training and implementing ethical behaviour, strategies for the employees, managers and all the rest of the stakeholders to clearly identify the goals of the business. There is a clear link between those businesses who deem ethical behaviour to be of high importance and the rewards the organisations gain from acting ethically in the business world. Despite the obvious importance of businesses exhibiting poor ethics, there are many companies that ignore their social responsibility and continue to act in an unethical way, yet they are still rewarded for their actions. Often that unethical behaviour goes unnoticed or is simply not brought to the attention of consumers, who will ultimately decide whether or not they want to purchase their product.
Globalisation is when a company spreads its practices, production and resources globally. By doing this, it is moving into foreign markets and making the business an international one. The emergence of these practices into foreign markets where they previously had no presence, combined with factors such as the internet and better global communications, as well as better transportation links between countries, creates a more connected international economy. Globalisation also creates more job opportunities for people in the countries that organisations decide to operate in. With more jobs available, the unemployment rate in these countries will fall, which can also increase government income as more individuals will be paying income tax. Globalisation creates opportunities to share knowledge regarding cultures in different communities, hence making the world that bit more understanding and accepting of others due to having more understanding of those different to themselves and cultures different to our own.
Governance and how a business conducts itself morally is imperative to society as it can have a direct knock-on effect on firms and industries. Good governance practice involves focusing on all stakeholders. For example, if a firm were opening a new factory, they would review the effects on the local community, wildlife and infrastructure and evaluate whether the factory being opened would benefit more people than not before proceeding. Governance also involves having set procedures to respond correctly and effectively to issues. One example of a business that demonstrates good governance is Primark. When the factory producing Primark items, among those of other companies based in Rana Plaza, collapsed, Primark responded immediately by offering compensation to those affected, whereas other companies such as the Edinburgh Woolen Mill denied any association to the factory, despite the existence of compelling evidence. Transparency in working is also important in order to ensure good business practice.
A stakeholder can be defined as any person who has an interest in the success of a business. There are two key perspectives a business can have when making important decisions: the shareholder's perspective, which is to make a profit, and the stakeholder's perspective, where the company will work towards a goal which best suits the interest of the majority of stakeholders. Stakeholders arguably can have the greatest impact on society as they can determine a business's actions, which in turn can affect employees and other stakeholders. Many firms experience pressure from a variety of different stakeholders, as each group of people normally has slightly different desired outcomes of a business's tasks. For example, if a business was opening up a new factory in order to increase capacity, shareholders are normally more interested in the dividends they will receive, therefore will encourage a new factory no matter what the short-term cost, whereas members of the nearby community and local pressure groups may cause issues for the business as they do not want their local wildlife to be impacted. In theory, a good business will not prioritise one stakeholder over another and will take all views into consideration in order to find the most suitable outcome for all parties. However, it is often difficult to consider the sometimes thousands of different viewpoints that may be involved in one simple decision, so often businesses prioritise a small number of stakeholders, for example the customers, and spend little time considering other groups impacted. Thus, stakeholders have a key role in business and society, as all stakeholders can impact business decisions, which in turn can impact a wider set of people.
A financial crisis is a name given to a combination of different situations which leads to the value of financial assets dropping over a short period of time. Numerous financial crises have occurred worldwide throughout modern history. However, one of the most notable and recent was the global financial crisis of 2008. Although many people blame banks for the financial crisis of 2008, there are also a lot of people who believe the blame belongs to the governments of both the UK and the USA. This is because these governments fail to supervise, regulate and intervene in the risky investments and actions of banks. Along with this, the governments were incredibly unprepared for the financial crisis. Management of crisis can evidently not only impact one society in the short term, but can cause extensive damage to entire countries for years to follow. The UK is still suffering from the bad planning of the governments of certain countries which led to the notable recession, and therefore it is imperative that businesses have strategies in place to prevent further downfalls within their own businesses so there is no knock-on effect on entire industries.